What's up guys, Gray here. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be going over some of the video and game settings that I use, as well as some of the keybinds that I use in Halo Infinite. This is something I know a lot of people are looking for, trying to figure out what settings you can get away with not using, some things that you can tweak to give yourself a better experience. So I wanted to dive into it and talk about the things that I use, and maybe it'll help you out as well. But real quick before we dive into it, guys, I do want to point out our community Discord. If you guys are looking for players to play with, I just started trying to grow my Discord a bit. There will be a link down in the description. Feel free to hop over there and join. It's a great place to be. We're going to start doing big community nights. When we stream during the week, we do 2 streams a week here on the channel. And I want to make one of those a fun community night, especially with Halo. Do like some big team battle nights. So if you want to get in on that, hit that Discord link down below and come join the community. It'll be a ton of fun. We're pretty small starting out, but with your help, we can grow it and turn it into something pretty fun. So with that being said, let's dive right into the video and take a look at some of the settings we are using here in Halo. So starting right off, we're going to take a look at the video settings that I use. I use a field of view of 108. You can tinker with this a little bit. You don't really want to go all the way up to like 120 because yeah, you may get a bigger field of view. You might see more, but your targets are going to be smaller, which as a result is going to make them harder to hit. So you want to find a good balance there. 105-ish is usually pretty good, what a lot of people rock. Everything else is pretty normal here. The resolution scale, I've heard that you can mess with this. You could turn it down if you're looking to get, if you need some more performance out of your game, if you're not quite hitting your frame rate. I use a 144 hertz monitor, so if you're doing the same, but your computer isn't quite getting there, you might be able to adjust this scale down to give yourself that extra frame rate. You do lose a little fidelity on that, but that's up to you. I do, of course, set my max frame rate to 144 to match my monitor. I don't have VSync on because sometimes it can cause, like, not screen tearing, but you can see it trying to match, and it can be distracting sometimes. So I just turn that off. For my settings here, I pretty much run everything on low. I'll scroll through this pretty slow so you can copy it if you want. Texture quality, geometry quality, a couple other things I do leave on high. I'll scroll through this here so you can see it, but for the most part, everything is either off or low. But for things like animation, terrain quality, simulation quality, I do have those on high. Now, async compute, I don't really know what this does, to be honest with you. I think it sort of shares the workload between your CPU and GPU if it can. This may help you. You may have to experiment with it a little bit to see if that benefits you. Down here, though, this is where you're going to want to turn everything off. Blur off, screen shake off. I do turn exposure down all the way as well. Full screen effects I leave on. That's things like your overshield when it's recharging. You can see that on your screen. If that bothers you, you can turn it off. Then, of course, we do have, sorry if my camera's blocking it, but right here we do have speed lines. It's like the anime lines you see when you're running. I kind of like it, so I leave it on, but if it distracts you, feel free to turn that off. Another quick little trick in your audio settings, the environmental effects right here. You're going to want to turn this down to 0. Some of the maps have like really annoying background noise in them. You'll hear like birds or like nature noises, or on some of them you can hear like police sirens and helicopters and all this background noise. It can be really distracting, so you can turn that off and you won't get any of that background noise. Now, looking at some of my keybinds, this is where I do things a little different than most people, so don't judge me, but we'll take a look at it anyway. I do only turn on hold to zoom. Obviously, if you're playing Halo, you notice by default it has toggle zoom, which is just so weird to me. I can't deal with it, so hold to zoom is the play for me. I don't do hold to sprint. I don't do hold to crouch or anything like that. You do want to turn off auto clamber and step jump. These are going to sort of shorten your jump or help you auto mantle over things. It can screw you over in a lot of fights. So I always turn these off so that it's not getting in the way and doesn't do something I'm not trying to do. Looking at my mouse sensitivity, I run 1.5. This has been a sweet spot for me. I think it took me a while to figure this out. I was a little lower. 1.5 is kind of nice. I haven't adjusted any of my per zoom level sensitivities. I might mess with this for like my sniper because not quite comfortable with the sniper yet in Infinite, so I might need to do some tweaking here. But moving further on to the keybinds, everything's pretty normal here. This is where I get a little weird. I put my crouch and slide on my mouse button, on my back button on my mouse. I've just done that ever since Destiny. That way I can sprint with shift and hit slide with my mouse and not have to move my hand too much on my keyboard. It's just a habit I've formed. I know a lot of people think it's weird, but I always put my crouch on my mouse there. Sprint, of course, everything here is pretty normal. I do put my equipment on F. I like to have that there. That's going to be like your overshield or your repulsor, things like that, your zip line. I put that on F. It's easy to reach, but it's not in the way. I do put my melee is on my other mouse button, the front mouse button. I like to have that there. I have melee and crouch there so that I can always look freely and hit those buttons when I need to. Having crouch on my mouse also makes it so I can crouch during gunfights really easily. I can spam that while aiming and shooting. I put grenade on Q, so you always have access to that. By default, I think it's like G, which is horrible. So I switched that over to Q. Switch weapon. I put this on E. I actually took interact off of E. I think I moved it to, yeah, interact is on V. But I like the switch weapon there because that's actually something you're going to do a lot, especially in higher end ranked modes. If you're emptying your mag, if you go to reload, they're going to push you and they're going to kill you. You usually just want to swap weapons. Being able to do that fast and having that button available all the time is great. Having it on mouse wheel is terrible. You're always going to overshoot it. You're going to end up just swapping back to the same weapon. It drives me nuts when developers put this on the mouse wheel without making it like not spammable. So I would recommend putting it on an actual key. And then for everything else, it's pretty normal. I do switch grenade. I put it on my tilde because I'm weird. But I like that. That just toggles between my different grenades. Mark is very important, being able to ping. I put this on my middle mouse button where I click my mouse wheel. The ping system is actually really great in Halo Infinite. It can help you out a lot. Gives your teammates tons of free information. You should definitely be using this. If you are not, make sure to equip this somewhere where you can have access to it really easily. You can do it in a gunfight in the heat of the moment, be marking targets to help out your team, to help them save your ass in a gunfight. It can really come in handy. My equipment slots, I still leave on 1 through 4 to toggle through them. I haven't really figured out if I want to move those yet or not. And then all my other vehicle settings are pretty much the same. Under my UI, I do change a couple things here. If you scroll down a ways, you can change the UI colors of the enemies. The yellow looks really clean on the enemies. Instead of them being red, instead of everything being red, all of their shields, it changes everything. And the yellow just looks really clean. It's really easy to tell when their shield's about to break, when it's glowing bright yellow. Makes it just super easy to tell what's going on. So I really enjoy that. There's tons of different options here, though. So experiment with it and see what you like. I changed the friendly UI to cerulean. It's like a slightly different blue. It's just a little more appealing to me. But that's just my preference. You can definitely tinker around with this as well and mess with it. I do come in here, you can turn off chromatic aberration, bloom, and all this stuff. See if it makes any difference. I don't really know if it does. This is just for UI elements. So that's going to be pretty much it, guys. Those are all the settings, keybinds, and things that I run for Halo Infinite. It's always a moving target. I may move some things. But as far as my video and game settings, those are pretty much set in stone. So if you guys enjoyed the video, found it helpful, do me a favor, leave a like down below for me. It greatly helps out the video. And consider joining the community Discord so you can get in on some of those big team battle nights. We stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I think we're going to make Tuesday night the community night. So if you want to get in on that, be sure to join the Discord and it'll be a blast. So thank you guys for stopping by. I'll catch you in the next one.